Now I'd like to introduce you to a concept called the emotional bank account. You know what a financial bank account is. If you were my banker and I were to make many, many deposits into this bank account, it would gradually get larger and larger. I could even take withdrawals from it, but I have great reserve capacity. An emotional bank account is like that as well. You could make many, many deposits over a period of time, which would build my reserve capacity with you. If I make a mistake, that is a small withdrawal. And the trust is so high, I still have a huge reserve capacity. If I make a huge mistake that violates, in the deepest sense, our agreement, it may cause the emotional bank account to be overdrawn all at one time, see? The concept of the emotional bank account is the production capability side of human relationships, of human interaction. Now, any metaphor, if pushed far enough, will tend to break down, including this one. You don't make deposits in order to take withdrawals. Nevertheless, if you have a high emotional bank account, if the quality of that relationship is so good and the trust is so high, you can, in fact, make mistakes. You can take withdrawals. Not on purpose, but often unwittingly, unknowingly, because of insensitivity or whatever. But people understand. Just to illustrate, how many have a high emotional bank account with somebody, a trust relationship with someone, think of that person, that it is so high you can communicate with them almost without words? Can you think of people? How many have such a high emotional bank account that you can even make mistakes in your communication and they'll still get your meaning? Why? They know your heart. They know what you represent. Now the opposite. How many have a relationship with someone that is really strained, where the trust isn't there, where the emotional bank account is overdrawn? How many have had that in your life or now have one of those in your life? Now what happens when you communicate? What happens when you are very clear in your communication? It won't take. They're always looking for the hidden agendas. They're reading between the lines. What's going on here really? And if you make a small mistake, boy, that thing can be blown all out of proportion. Talk about drowning in a puddle. Talk about exacerbating some small little weakness into a major character flaw or something like that. What originally began as just simple misunderstandings are exacerbated until they become major communication breakdowns. Some people even call them personality conflicts. I was doing a seminar one time on the Oregon coastline. It was so beautiful that we actually held our meetings outside. People just wanted to be immersed in this nature. A lovely day, it was warm. One man came up to me afterwards and said, "Oh boy, I wish I could enjoy these things, that I just can't." "What's the problem?" "Well, I don't know, my wife just grills me like you can't believe. I mean, she just doesn't trust me, and she constantly examines every part of my life. Where have you been? What did you do? Who did you go with? What did you do tonight? Who'd you go to dinner with? And who can I call to check up on all this?" And then we talked a little while, and then he said, "Of course, I guess she has good reason for all these misgivings. I mean, I met her when I was on one of these trips when I was married to someone else." And I remember saying to him, "You cannot talk yourself out of problems you behave yourself into." There is no shortcut. There is no quick fix. The law of the harvest governs.